The research ship Aurora's Dream moved slowly through the empty darkness of space. Its blue lights blinked softly as it searched for new worlds and ancient secrets among the stars. Captain HFY stood on the bridge, his tall crystalline body reflecting the soft glow of the control panels. His people, the Kalahari, had been exploring space for thousands of years, always looking for knowledge and new friends among the stars. "Captain, we are picking up some strange readings from that." "Dead system ahead," said Officer Veltar from his station. His long fingers danced across the crystal controls as he studied the data. "There seems to be something artificial hidden in the asteroid field." HFY moved closer to look at the readings. The Kalahari had learned long ago to be curious about such things. Their whole culture was built around learning and discovering new things. They had never met a problem they could not solve with patience and careful study. "Take us closer," HFY ordered. "But keep our distance. We do not know what we might find." The Aurora's Dream changed course and headed toward the asteroid field. As they got closer, their sensors began to pick up more details. Hidden among the floating rocks was something that did not belong there. It was clearly made by someone, not formed by nature. "Captain, I think we have found an old weapons cache," Veltar said, his voice filled with excitement. "Suggests it has been here for a very long time, maybe millions of years." HFY felt a small worry in his chest. The Kalahari knew about ancient wars from their history books, but they had never seen actual weapons from those dark times. Their people had been peaceful for so long that most of them had forgotten what real war looked like. "Send out a probe," he ordered. "Let us see what secrets this old place holds." The small probe shot out from their ship and moved carefully through the asteroid field. Its cameras showed them images of a massive structure hidden inside a hollow asteroid. The building was black and covered with strange symbols that seemed to glow with their own light. "The symbols match some very old records in our database," said Science Officer Cathera. "I think this might be from the Vorthok Empire. They disappeared millions of years ago, but the stories say they were very dangerous." "The Vorthok," HFY whispered. Every Kalahari child knew the old stories about the Vorthok Empire. They had once ruled a large part of the galaxy with fear and violence. But those were just old stories. The Vorthok had been gone for so long that most people thought they were just myths. The probe moved closer to the structure and began to scan it with different sensors. As it did, something unexpected happened. The ancient symbols on the building began to glow brighter. Deep inside the structure, systems that had been sleeping for millions of years began to wake up. "Captain, the probe seems to have activated something," Veltar said, his voice now filled with worry instead of excitement. "Energy levels inside the structure are rising quickly." Before HFY could order the probe to back away, the ancient facility came fully online. Massive doors opened in the asteroid, and something terrible emerged from the darkness inside. It was a war machine unlike anything the Kalahari had ever seen. It looked like a giant metal spider with weapons covering its entire body. Its eyes glowed red as it scanned the area around it. "Get that probe back here now," HFY ordered. But it was too late. The Vorthok war machine targeted the small probe and destroyed it with a single shot. The blast was so powerful that it lit up the entire asteroid field like a small sun. The machine did not stop there. Its sensors had detected the Aurora's Dream, and now it was moving toward them. "Captain, we need to leave this place right now," Veltar said, as his hands flew over the controls. "That thing is heading straight for us, and our ship is not built for fighting." HFY knew his officer was right. The Aurora's Dream was a science ship, built for exploration and research. It had no weapons and very little armor. Against a Vorthok war machine, they would not last very long. "Set course for the nearest jump point," he ordered. "Maximum speed." But as their ship began to turn away, more war machines emerged from other hidden facilities throughout the asteroid field. The probe had not just awakened one ancient weapon, it had awakened all of them. Soon there were dozens of the spider-like machines moving through space, their red eyes searching for targets. The Aurora's Dream tried to run, but the war machines were faster. They surrounded the Kalahari ship and began to attack. Their weapons were more powerful than anything the peaceful Kalahari had ever imagined. Each shot that hit their ship caused terrible damage, Shields are failing, reported Engineer Morthen. From his station, hull damage on multiple levels. We cannot take much more of this. HFY watched in horror as his beautiful ship was torn apart by weapons from an ancient war. His crew worked desperately to keep them alive, but they all knew they were fighting a battle they could not win. Captain, I am picking up transmissions from the war machines, Veltar said. They are communicating with each other, and the message is spreading. I think they are calling more machines from other systems. The terrible truth hit HFY like a cold wave. They had not just awakened a few old weapons, they had activated an entire network of Vorthok war machines that had been sleeping across this part of the galaxy. Soon, every peaceful world in the region would face the same fate as his ship. Send out a distress call on all emergency frequencies, he ordered. Tell everyone what we have done, and warn them about what is coming. Veltar's fingers moved quickly across his controls as he broadcast their desperate message into space. The call for help went out to every world and every ship that might be listening. But even as he sent it, HFY knew that no one in this part of the galaxy had the military power to stop what they had awakened. The Kalahari and their neighbors were all peaceful people. They had forgotten how to fight real wars against the ancient weapons of the Vorthok Empire. They would be helpless. As another blast shook their ship, HFY closed his eyes and hoped that someone somewhere would hear their call and come to help them before it was too late. Deep inside Cheyenne Mountain on Earth, Lieutenant Colonel Jake Murphy sat at his desk drinking cold coffee and watching the screens that showed him signals from across the galaxy. It was a quiet night shift, and most of the messages were just routine reports from trading ships and research stations. Jake had been doing this job for 5 years, and he thought he had seen everything. Then something new appeared on his screen. It was a signal unlike anything he had ever received before. The computer systems began working to translate the alien language, and Jake felt his heart start beating faster as he read the words that appeared. This is Captain HFY of the Kalahari research vessel Aurora's Dream. We have made a terrible mistake. We have awakened ancient war machines that are now spreading across our region of space. These machines are programmed to destroy all life. They find we need help from anyone who can fight. Our weapons cannot stop them. Please, if anyone receives this message, come quickly. We do not have much time. Jake stared at the message for a long moment. Then he pressed the emergency button. That would wake up everyone in the building. Within minutes, the command center was full of people, all looking at the alien distress call. Major Lisa Stone arrived first. She was the best alien expert that Earth had, and she knew more about other species than anyone else in the military. She read the message quickly and then looked at the data about where it came from. The Kalahari are a peaceful species, she told the room. We have had some contact with them through traders, but not much. They explore space and study things, but they do not fight wars. If they are asking for military help, then whatever they have found must be very dangerous. General Paul Carter walked into the room, still putting on his uniform. He was a big man with gray hair and serious eyes. He had been a soldier for 30 years and had fought in many battles. When he read the alien message, his face became very serious. How far away are they? He asked. It's about 6 days by hyperspace jump, answered Jake. We could get there with the Stormbreaker, but sir, we have never sent our ships that far from Earth before. The Stormbreaker was Earth's newest and most powerful warship. It had been built during the last war between Earth's nations, before humanity had learned to work together. The ship was designed to fight and win battles against any enemy, but it had never been tested against alien technology. Sir, said Major Stone, we do not know what these ancient war machines can do. We could be sending our people into a trap. General, Carter looked at the message again. He thought about the peaceful alien species that was calling for help. He thought about the dangerous weapons that were spreading across space. Then he thought about what it meant to be human. We answered distress calls, he said simply. That is what we do. Give me Captain Hayes. Captain Ryan Hayes was sleeping in his quarters when the call came. He was a young man for a ship captain, only 35 years old, but he had proven himself in many dangerous situations. He had short brown hair and calm blue eyes that never showed fear, even in the worst battles. 20. Minutes later, Hayes stood in the command center, fully dressed and ready for orders. He listened as General Carter explained the situation. "Captain, I want you to take the Stormbreaker and respond to this distress call," the general said. "I know it is dangerous, and I know we are going into unknown territory. But these aliens need our help, and I believe we can make a difference." Hayes nodded. "How long do I have to prepare?" "You leave in 2 hours," Carter replied. "Take your full crew and be ready for anything." Hayes saluted and left to prepare his ship. The Stormbreaker was a beautiful vessel, sleek and powerful, with weapons that could destroy other ships and shields that could protect it from almost any attack. But more importantly, it had a crew of humans who had trained their whole lives to fight and win. Commander Beth Logan was his second in command. She was a small woman with red hair and a quick mind for tactics. She could see patterns in battle that others missed. She never backed down from a fight. Chief Engineer Matt Davis was a big man who loved machines more than people. He could make the ship's engines do things that the designers never thought possible. He was not afraid to take risks if it meant saving lives. Dr. Amy Ross was the ship's medical officer. She was kind and gentle, but she had served in many battles and knew how to treat wounds from alien weapons. She carried medical supplies for treating both humans and aliens. Marine Colonel Sam Turner commanded the ship's soldiers. His Marines were ready to fight anyone or anything that threatened innocent people. As the Stormbreaker prepared to leave Earth, Hayes gathered his officers in the briefing room. He showed them the alien message and explained their mission. "Are going to help people we have never met in a place we have never been, against enemies we do not understand," he said. "But that does not matter. They called for help, and we are going to answer." The crew nodded. They all understood what it meant to be human. They had grown up on a dangerous world where people had to fight to survive. They had learned that sometimes the only thing standing between good people and evil was someone willing to stand up and fight. 6 hours later, the Stormbreaker jumped into hyperspace, carrying Earth's hopes toward a distant battle. Captain Hayes sat in his command chair and watched the stars streak past the windows. He did not know what they would find when they arrived, but he knew his crew was ready for anything. Somewhere in the darkness of space, the Kalahari were still fighting for their lives, hoping that someone had heard their call for help. They did not know that help was coming from a small blue planet where dangerous creatures had learned to work together and fight for others. The Deathworlders were on their way. The Stormbreaker dropped out of hyperspace at the edge of the Kalahari system. Captain Hayes stood on the bridge and looked at the scene before him. It was worse than he had imagined. The Aurora's dream was barely holding together. It's beautiful. Blue Hole cracked and burning. Round it moved 6 black war machines, each one the size of a small building, the red eyes glowing as they fired shot after shot at the helpless science ship. "My God," whispered Commander Logan as she studied the alien machines. "Those things are ancient, but they are still deadly." "Captain, I am getting a weak signal from the alien ship," reported Communications Officer Tony Clark. "They are still alive, but their shields are almost gone." Hayes did not hesitate. "Battle stations. All hands prepare for combat. Beth, I want you to analyze those machines and find their weak points. Matt, give me everything the engines have." God. The crew of the Stormbreaker moved quickly to their positions. They had trained for this moment their entire careers. But they had never expected their first real battle to be saving aliens from ancient war machines. On the Aurora's dream, Captain HFY watched his ship die around him. Half of his crew was injured, and their weapons had stopped working hours ago. He had accepted that they were going to die when something impossible happened. A new ship appeared in the system. It was unlike anything HFY had ever seen. Where Kalahari ships were smooth and graceful, this vessel looked dangerous and powerful. It had sharp edges and weapon ports covering its hull. Most importantly, it was moving toward the battle instead of running away. "Captain, we are receiving a transmission," said Veltar, hope filling his voice for the first time in hours. "This is Captain Ryan Hayes of the United Earth ship Stormbreaker. We received your distress call. Hold on, we are coming to get you." HFY could hardly believe what he was hearing. Someone had actually answered their call for help. But as he watched the human ship approach, he felt a new fear. The ship was small compared to the Vorthok machines, and there was only one of it. The Vorthok war machines noticed the new arrival and turned to face it. Their computer brains analyzed the human ship and decided it was not a serious threat. Odd. Machines had been built to fight enemies with similar technology to their own. They did not understand that they were about to face something completely different. Captain Hayes watched as 4 of the war machines moved away from the Kalahari ship to attack him. Beth, what do you see? Commander Logan studied the enemy machines. On her screens, they move in predictable patterns, Captain. They expect us to fight like their old enemies did, but we are not going to do that. Matt, can you give me more power to the forward guns? Chief Engineer Davis grinned from his station. I can give you more power than these old machines have ever seen, Captain. Just say the word. The first Vorthok machine fired its main weapon. At the Stormbreaker, the blast was powerful enough to destroy most ships, but Hayes was ready for it. Instead of trying to absorb the hit with shields like the machine expected, he ordered the ship to move at the last second. The shot missed. Completely now, Beth. Hit them with everything we have. The Stormbreaker's weapons fired all at once. The human ship carried guns that had been designed to fight other human ships. Weapons that could punch through the strongest armor ever built on Earth, the Vorthok machine's shields. Designed to stop energy weapons from millions of years ago, could not handle the raw power of human kinetic weapons. The first war machine exploded in a ball of fire and metal. The other machines stopped moving for a moment, their computer brains trying to understand what had just happened. In that moment of confusion, Hayes struck again. Hard to port. Target the second machine. Matt, I need the engines to do something they were never designed to do. Got it, Captain, Davis replied, and pushed the ship's systems beyond their safety limits. The Stormbreaker moved in ways that the ancient machines could not predict. It spun and twisted through space like a fighter instead of a large warship. Its human crew using their knowledge of three-dimensional combat to stay ahead of the enemy weapons. On the Aurora's Dream, the Kalahari crew watched in amazement as the human ship fought. They had never seen anything like it. The humans did not follow any of the normal rules of space combat. They took risks that seemed insane, but somehow they made it work. How are they doing that? Asked Officer Veltar. Captain HFY shook his head. I do not know. But they are. Winning, the second Vorthok machine tried to ram the human ship, but Hayes saw it coming. Sam, get your Marines ready. We might have boarders. Colonel Turner's voice came over the intercom. My boys are ready, Captain. Let these ancient machines try to board us. We'll show them what humans do to uninvited guests. But the ramming? Attack never came. Commander Logan had found a weakness in the machine's armor, and the Stormbreaker's guns punched through it like paper. The second war machine died just like the first. The remaining 4 machines began to retreat, but Hayes was not going to let them escape. They are running to get help. We cannot let that happen. The battle became a deadly chase through the asteroid field where the Kalahari had first found the ancient weapons. The human ship followed the war machines through the floating rocks, both sides firing constantly. Hayes used the asteroids as cover, hiding behind them, and then attacking when the machines least expected it. Dr. Ross worked frantically in the medical bay, treating wounded crew members. The ship was taking damage, but the humans kept fighting. They had come here to save the Kalahari, and they were not going to give up, one by one. The ancient war machines fell to human weapons and tactics. The last machine tried to escape into deep space. But Commander Logan tracked it with the ship's sensors and destroyed it with a long-range shot. When the battle was over, silence filled the space around the 2 ships. The Kalahari could hardly believe they were still alive. The humans had done what seemed impossible. They had defeated weapons that had been built by one of the most powerful empires in galactic history. Captain. Hayes opened a channel to the Kalahari ship. Aurora's Dream. This is Captain Hayes. Are you able to receive survivors? We are sending shuttles to help with repairs and medical aid. HFY found his voice. Captain Hayes, we do not know how to thank you. You've saved our lives. That is what we do, Hayes replied simply. But I am afraid this is not over. Those machines were calling for help before we destroyed them. More are coming and we need to be ready for them. Captain HFY stood in the docking bay of the Stormbreaker, still amazed that he was alive. The human ship was unlike anything he had ever seen. Where Kalahari vessels were built for comfort and beauty, this ship was built for war. Every surface was covered with weapons or armor, and the crew moved with the quick efficiency of soldiers. Dr. Amy Ross finished treating the last of the wounded. Kalahari looked up at Captain Hayes. They will all recover, Captain. Their injuries are not serious, but they need rest. Thank you, Doctor, Hayes replied. Then he turned to HFY. Captain, we need to talk. My sensors are picking up more signals from across this sector. How many of these ancient weapons did your people accidentally wake up? HFY felt sick as he thought about what they had done. We do not know for certain. The probe we sent activated one facility, but that facility sent signals to others. There could be dozens of them, maybe hundreds. Commander Logan looked up from her tactical display. Captain, I am tracking at least 50 new energy signatures moving toward inhabited systems. These machines are not just hunting us anymore. They are going after civilian populations. Hayes felt anger rise in his chest. The idea of ancient weapons attacking innocent people was something no human could accept. How long do we have? At their current speed, the first wave will reach the Kalahari homeworld in 18 hours, Logan replied. After that, they will spread to other systems. Millions of people will die. Hayes opened a communication channel to Earth. This is Captain Hayes calling Earth Command. We need immediate reinforcements. The situation here is much worse than we thought. The response came back quickly. Admiral Kate Phillips appeared on the main screen, her gray hair pulled back and her expression serious. She was the commander of Earth's deep space fleet, and she had been a friend of Hayes for many years. Ryan, I have been watching your battle reports. Good work out there. But I can see from the data that you are facing something much bigger than we expected. Admiral, we need ships and we need them now. There are ancient war machines spreading across this entire region of space. One ship cannot stop them all. Phillips nodded. I am sending you the Second Fleet. The carriers, Valkyrie and Titan. Destroyers, Hellhound and Reaper, and their support ships, they will be there in 36 hours. That might not be fast enough, Hayes said. The machines will reach civilian populations before then you will have to hold them off until help arrives, Phillips replied. I know it sounds impossible, but if anyone can do it, it is you and your crew. The connection ended, and Hayes turned to his officers. You heard the Admiral. We have to buy time for the civilians to evacuate and for our reinforcements to arrive. Chief Engineer Matt Davis looked at the tactical display. Captain, with respect, we cannot fight 50 war machines with one ship. We barely survived against 6 of them. We do not fight them all at once, Hayes said. We hit them where they do not expect it and make them come to us on our terms. Officer Veltar, who had been listening quietly, spoke up. Captain Hayes, I have been studying the signals from the ancient machines. They are following old programming from millions of years ago. They always attack the largest population centers first. That gives us an advantage, said Commander Logan. If we can predict where they will go, we can be waiting for them. Colonel Sam Turner stepped forward. Captain, my Marines are ready for anything. If we need to board those machines and fight them hand to hand, we will do it. Hayes looked around at his crew and the Kalahari officers. We are going to split up. The Stormbreaker will take on the largest group of machines heading for the Kalahari homeworld. Captain HFY, I need you to contact every ship in your fleet and tell them to evacuate the civilian populations from the outer colonies. Our ships are not built for fighting, HFY said. We cannot help you in battle. You can help by getting innocent people out of the way, Hayes replied. Hey, leave the fighting to us. Dr. Ross looked at the data about the ancient machines. Captain, I have been studying the wreckage from the machines we destroyed. These weapons are not just programmed to kill. They're designed to change entire worlds to make them suitable for their creators. What do you mean, Hayes asked. They're terraforming devices, she explained. They will not just destroy the populations on these worlds. They will change the air and water and soil to make it impossible for anyone else to live there. Even if we stop them eventually, the damage could take centuries to repair. The weight of what they were facing hit everyone in the room. This was not just a battle to save lives. It was a battle to save entire worlds from being changed forever. Captain HFY felt the full weight of what his people had done. This is our fault. We should be the ones to face these machines, not you. Hayes put his hand on the alien captain's shoulder. It does not matter whose fault it is. What matters is stopping them. And right now, we are the only ones who can do it. The next few hours were a blur of activity. The Kalahari evacuation ships began moving civilians away from the outer colonies. The Stormbreaker moved to intercept the largest group of war machines, while human engineers worked to repair the damage from the previous battle. Commander Logan studied the tactical situation and developed a plan. Captain, if we can lure the machines into the nebula near the fourth planet, we can use the gas clouds to hide our movements. It will be like fighting in fog. The machines will have the same problem, Hayes pointed out. Yes, but we are used to fighting in difficult conditions. They're programmed for open space combat. Chief Engineer Davis was pushing the ship's systems harder than ever before. Captain, I can give you more speed and firepower, but I cannot promise how long the engines will hold together. Do whatever you have to do, Matt. Those people are counting on us. As the Stormbreaker approached the first group of ancient machines, Hayes looked at his crew. They were about to face impossible odds, but none of them showed any fear. They were human, and humans did not give up when innocent people needed their help. All hands, this is the captain, he announced over the ship's communication system. We are about to face an enemy that has been sleeping for millions of years. They think they know how to fight, but they have never faced humans before. We are going to show them what happens when they threaten innocent people. On the main screen, the ancient war machines appeared as red dots moving through space toward the Kalahari homeworld. There were 20 of them in this group, each one powerful, enough to destroy a city. Take us in, Commander, Hayes ordered. Let us see what these ancient weapons can do against a ship from Earth. The battle began in the purple gas clouds of the nebula near the Kalahari homeworld. Captain Hayes had positioned the Stormbreaker at the center of the cloud, using the swirling gas to hide from the 20 ancient war machines that were approaching. The plan was simple, but dangerous: make the machines come to them one at a time instead of fighting them all together. First group of machines entering the nebula, reported Commander Logan. 3 contacts moving in formation. They cannot see us yet. Hayes waited until the machines were close enough to touch. Fire everything. The Stormbreaker erupted with weapons fire, destroying 2 of the ancient machines before they knew what hit them. The third machine fired back, but the gas clouds made it hard to aim. The shot went wide, hitting nothing but empty space. 1 down, 2 down, called out Logan. Third machine is retreating back to the main group, Hayes ordered. It will bring the others to us, and that is what we want. For the next 2 hours, the battle continued in the same way. Small groups of machines entered the nebula, and the humans destroyed them one by one. The ancient weapons were powerful, but they were not designed to fight an enemy that used the environment as a weapon. But Hayes knew they could not keep this up forever. The ship was taking damage, and his crew was getting tired. Worse, more groups of machines were arriving from other parts of the sector. Captain, we have a problem, said Chief Engineer Davis over the intercom. The port engine is overheating. I can keep it running for maybe another hour, but after that we will lose half our speed. Hayes looked at the tactical display. There were still 8 machines left in this group, and scanners showed more groups approaching the system. In 6 hours, there would be over 100 ancient war machines attacking the Kalahari homeworld. Captain Hayes, came a voice over the communication system. It was Officer Veltar, speaking from the Aurora's Dream. We have finished evacuating the outer colonies. All civilian ships are moving to safe systems. Good work, Hayes replied. How many people did you save? Over 2 million, Veltar answered. They are all safe because of what you are doing here. Hayes felt a moment of pride, but he knew the job was not finished. The largest group of machines was still heading for the homeworld where billions of Kalahari lived. Captain, "Incoming transmission from Earth Fleet," announced Communications Officer Clark. Admiral Phillips appeared on the screen, and Hayes could see the bridge of the carrier Valkyrie behind her. "Ryan, we are still 12 hours out. Can you hold on that long?" Hayes looked at his damaged ship and tired crew. "We will have to, Admiral. But I do not think we can stop all of them." "No. You do not have to stop them all," Phillips said. "You just have to slow them down and make them pay for every meter of space. Help is coming." The transmission ended, and Hayes turned back to the battle. 3 more machines were entering the nebula, moving carefully after seeing what had happened. To their companions, "These ones are learning," observed Commander Logan. "They are not making the same mistakes as the others." "Then we teach them new lessons," Hayes said. "Matt, I need you to do something that will probably destroy the engines." Davis appeared on the internal screen, his face covered with sweat and oil. "What do you need, Captain?" "I need the ship to move faster than it was ever designed to go, just for a few minutes." Davis grinned. "I can give you that, but the engines will never be the same." "Do it." The Stormbreaker suddenly shot forward through the gas clouds, moving so fast that the ancient machines could not track it. Hayes used the extra speed to get behind the enemy formation and attack them from an unexpected direction. The surprise attack worked perfectly. All 3 machines were destroyed before they could react. But the victory came at a cost. Alarms began sounding all over the ship as the engine started to fail. "That is it for the speed tricks," Davis reported. "We are running on backup power." Now, Hayes knew they were in trouble. There were still 5 machines left in this group, and dozens more were coming. The Stormbreaker could not run anymore, which meant they would have to stand and fight. "All hands prepare for direct combat," Hayes announced. "No more hiding, no more tricks. Fight them head-on." The remaining machines seemed to sense that their enemy was wounded. They moved out of the nebula and surrounded the human ship. For the first time in the battle, the Stormbreaker faced multiple enemies at once. The ancient machines fired together, and the ship shook under the impact. Sparks flew from control panels, and the lights flickered. But the humans did not give up. Dr. Ross worked frantically in the medical bay, treating crew members who had been injured by the enemy fire. Colonel Turner's Marines stood ready to repel boarders if the machines tried to take the ship. "Shields at 20%, reported Logan. "Cannot take much more of this." Hayes was about to order a desperate ramming attack when something unexpected happened. A new voice came over the communication system. "This is Captain HFY calling all Kalahari ships in the system. The humans came here to save us. Now it is time for us to save them." On the main screen, Hayes saw something that made him smile. The Aurora's Dream was approaching the battle, along with a dozen other Kalahari research ships. They were not warships, but they were brave enough to try. The Kalahari ships began firing their weak scientific lasers at the ancient machines. The weapons did no real damage, but they distracted the machines long enough for the Stormbreaker to destroy 2 more of them. "Captain Hayes," said HFY over the radio, "we cannot fight like you do, but we can help. Tell us what to do." Hayes felt a warm feeling in his chest. These peaceful aliens were risking their lives to help the humans who had come to save them. Spread out and keep moving. Make them choose between targeting you and targeting us. Combined fleet of human and Kalahari ships fought together against the remaining ancient machines. It was not pretty, and it was not easy. But slowly, they began to win. When the last machine in the group was destroyed, Hayes slumped in his command chair. His ship was barely holding together, his crew was exhausted, and there were still more enemies coming. But then Admiral Phillips's voice filled the bridge. "All ships, this is Admiral Phillips. The cavalry has arrived." On the main screen, Hayes saw the most beautiful sight of his life. The Earth fleet was dropping out of hyperspace, led by the massive carriers Valkyrie and Titan. Dozens of human warships spread out across the system, their weapons already charging for battle. The ancient machines that had been approaching the Kalahari homeworld suddenly found themselves facing not one damaged ship, but an entire fleet of human warships. The tide of battle had turned. Over the next few hours, the combined human fleet systematically hunted down and destroyed every ancient machine in the sector. The weapons that had slept for millions of years were finally put to rest. When it was over, Captain Hayes stood on the bridge of the Stormbreaker and looked out at the Kelhari homeworld. The planet was safe, its billions of people saved from An ancient evil Captain HFY appeared on the communication screen. Captain Hayes, how can we ever thank you? You risked everything to save people you had never met. Hayes smiled. That is what friends do. I think we are going to be very good friends.